Hi, I'm Battalion Chief Brandon Garcia with Poudre Fire Authority. Here to talk about search and rescue and what is our primary mission on fires. Our incident priorities of life safety, incident stabilization, and property conservation. Search and rescue goes up to our number one incident priority, which is life safety. Our strategic goals on every fire incident are to save the people and put out the fire. Who does search? Well, all of us do search. Primarily, our focus has always been, well, the truck companies do search. Well, that's not true. Every firefighter must be able to do search, whether if you're roving to a truck company, or what about if you're given the assignment of RIC? That would be a primary function of the RIC in the event that we need to deploy them. Secondly, on an expanding incident where we're doing vent enter isolate search, engine companies will be engaged in doing primary search, especially for complex incidents. The other reason is in the event that the truck company is significantly delayed. If you have another resource staged on scene, or perhaps a 2 outline that's assigned and that comes up in your priority list, that's when you would give that assignment. And that's why we need all of our firefighters to be efficient and proficient at primary search. That initial IC takes into account the initial dispatch information and gets on scene, takes a snapshot of what they see and does that 360, engaging all their skills, knowledge, and abilities to determine our strategic goals on this incident. When they're looking at this, we have to look at every incident with both a known and a probable cause of rescue. It's obvious from initial dispatch if they're telling us that there is somebody that needs rescue. We can determine that on our 360. If we see somebody or somebody comes up and can confirm and says, yes, there's somebody in there, that is a known rescue. All other cases is more or less a probable. And we have to take in all that information and we have to look at all tenable areas inside these structures, and especially into places, multifamily, single family dwellings, to hit all those tenable areas for primary search. And we have to look at this in our risk profile. Life safety is number one incident priority. It's also our highest risk profile for where we put our firefighters at risk. They have to determine what our tactics going to be. Is it going to be VIS? If it is, set it up correctly, have the right resources there to support that. We cannot delay the search by waiting for a resource to come in 6-7 minutes when we know time is of matter. We are doing things as a department in 2016, implementing CPT of primary search back into PFA's CPT profile. This is because it is a priority, and we all need to look at this as it is a basic job function, and it is critical, it is valued, and it is needed for our customers. With that, enjoy the rest of the program and happy searching.
I'm Captain Ryan Thomas with the Poudre Fire Authority.
I'm Captain Ross Reinking, also with Poudre Fire Authority, and we're here today to talk about search and rescue operations. The pre-search size-up begins long before the tones go off. Crews should be familiarizing themselves with the buildings in their area and the structures and demographics, so when they arrive on the scene of a search, that they know what they're dealing with. When we arrive on scene, a 360 is a must. This gives us an opportunity to translate the exterior features to interior landmarks to help us with orientation while completing a search. These exterior landmarks assist crews in possibly determining the interior layout. The other thing we're looking for in a 360 is the volume, intensity, and location of fire. We're also looking for identifying our primary egress, which is where we're going to be entering on our search, our secondary egress, which are man doors, which we could possibly exit through an emergency situation or the victim, and emergency egresses, which are windows that can be used in the same situations.
One of the primary purposes of our size-up is to identify possible areas of refuge for our fire victims. Both searchers need to complete a 360. This is going to be for safety purposes. Also, it's going to help us manage and identify flow path considerations. 90% of residential doors swing towards the bedrooms. This is going to be a good identifier to help us locate those on our way in. Our pattern is going to be based off of the locations. Likely locations are going to be bedrooms, bathrooms. Studies have shown that 50% of our fire victims are found in bedrooms, with another 30% on egress pathways or in the bathrooms. Our communication module needs to be basic, standardized, and consist of a command feedback loop. Prior to entry, we need to notify command of our entry. Then, for inter-crew communication, we need to identify 3 things: our position, our pattern, and our direction. As we enter the structure and during our size up, we're going to make sure that we use alphanumerics to keep our direction.
I'm wall, your room, left-hand pattern, searching Bravo. Your wall, I'm room, left-hand pattern, searching Bravo.
Following our pre-entry communication, we were ready for entry. We're going to check each other to make sure our gear's on properly, and we're going to enter for our search. One thing we need to take note of before we enter the door is if the fire could potentially be under us. If it's potentially under us, as soon as we open that door, we're going to sound the floor in that area of that door suite. And then if the floor is sound, we are going to go ahead and hook our feet on the door jamb, both the wall and the room person. We're going to lay out central in the center of the door, and we're going to spread out to the opposite directions. The person on the door side is going to check behind the door and sweep his tool out that direction. The person away from the door swing is going to sweep out the other way. The reason we do this is a high probability area to locate a victim. People are creatures of habit. If they're coming in and out through their front door every day, this is a very probable location for us to locate a fire victim on our initial entry suite. There are 5 main commands that we're going to use during our search. These are search, which means go, swing out, which means a change of direction while in motion, stop, which means stop, room hold, which means the room position is going to hold the door for the wall position while they search a room, and victim. We have secondary commands that we'll be using also. These are to identify our primary egress, our secondary egress, and possibly staircases in the structure. We must notify command upon completion of the search so they can note the primary clear benchmark all clear, and also let them know when we are out of the structure.
One of the hallmarks of an efficient search is going to be your positioning. Positioning inside of a structure is very important. One thing that we want to do is we want to maximize the real estate that we cover inside of the structure. While not always possible, we want to make sure that we maintain communication, positioning next to each other inside of the structure, while covering as much ground as possible. As we bend and flex through the structure, we want to make sure that we stay in position, and we're going to go inside and demonstrate for you how this looks now. In a traditional search, one firefighter is holding the other firefighter's boot as we go through the structure. In this setting, with the tools aimed back, hunkered into the wall on each other's leg, we're covering about 3.5 to 4 feet of real estate inside of the room. Now we're going to show you how the preferred method looks. In this position, we're still aiming the same direction. We've got a wall man, we've got a room man, but in this configuration, our tools are going perpendicular to our bodies. With this spacing, I'm still in contact. I've got a forward landmark, and I've also got an inside landmark, so I'm still in contact with my partner. However, when we're configured this way, we're getting more efficiency out of our search. As opposed to our 4 feet of travel when we're on top of each other, we get about 9 feet inside of the room just by changing our configuration. Search. As the room man, it's my responsibility to keep in contact with my wall man. I've got, again, 2 landmarks, a forward landmark and an interior landmark. That'll be his leg and his hand. As I'm searching, I'm going to stay active in this area right here. If for whatever reason we get separated, my default is always to go up and in. That's where I'll find my wall. That's where I'll find my wall man. Search.
Search alpha.
Search alpha.
Swing out delta.
Swing out delta. Stop. One thing that's important as the room man, remember, when you're going to inside corners, you might have to back up in order to negotiate that turn. He's working farther than you on an inside corner. Conversely, when he turns to the outside, you're actually going to have to make up ground, get up, get outside, and get back into position.
Search delta.
Search delta.
Search Bravo, search Bravo. Swing out Charlie, swing out Charlie.
For purpose of this training, we've gone without our face pieces. This is only so we can have clarity in our communications.
Stop. Room hold.
Room hold.
One of your major considerations with the room position is when you do a room hold. Are you going to be inside of the room that you're holding or outside? This is going to be dependent on the conditions. If you have tough fire conditions in the interior of the structure, move into the room to protect yourself from the adverse conditions. You'll be able to monitor your partner's progress inside of the room and protect yourself from the elements outside. One of the top priorities as we search is going to be making sure that we get beds and couches fully covered. Want to make sure we get a good search of them. So the firefighter is going to come up, they're going to make sure that they extend their tool or their arm full surface across the surface of the mattress. They're going to lay their arm flat and they're going to glide across, not patting with the hands. They're going to come all the way around and they're going to check if there's space in between the wall and the bed. They're going to get back there and give a quick search. Same thing that we're going to do with couches. Stay off the top, stay on the cushion part where you'll find the people. Continue your search. Three-person search is going to utilize the same basic mechanics, positioning, and communication as a two-person search. Our positions, again, are going to be the wall position and the room position with the same responsibilities. In addition, we'll add the captain into the search as an eye-in-the-sky concept. The captain will be behind, trailing, outside of the communication loop with the thermal imaging camera. Locating doorknobs inside the structure is easy. Get to the door, square yourself upon the door. Remember, per building code, all doorknobs are located at 3 feet in height. Put your hands in front of your face, shoot them out to the door, move them to the side. You'll hit the doorknob every time. You may have to adjust up or down based on your height. When descending stairs, it's important to make sure that we sound the stairs for stability before going down. Grab with your tool, and there's two basic methods. First method would be butt down, head up. You're going to go down the center of the stairs, sounding as you go. Have your balance back, your weight back, shifted back. Use your foot and a tool to feel your way down the stairs. The second way is going to be to turn around. Face upwards. Use the strength of the stairs, which is the webbing at the outside, and stay outside on the stairs with your face up.
All personnel operating on the fire ground should be aware of the relationship and the correlation between the incident priorities, our benchmarks, and our risk profile. They all work together to ensure everyone operates intelligently and safely on the fire ground. When we first arrive on scene, our initial incident priority is life safety. That includes citizens that may be victims of fire and the firefighters operating on the fire ground. Until the benchmark of primary all clear is met, all units should work together to ensure that life safety incident priority is followed. Once the primary search is all clear and command and or the support group or the truck officer announces that the primary search is all clear, all units on the fire ground should be aware that we are now stepping down to the next lower level of risk. We might still be at a medium risk profile as operating inside the structure in IDLH, but all personnel should be aware we are done risking a lot and now we are only risking a little to save savable property.